Oh, Thor, why didn't you grab the slab from the chest after you beat Caliban? I know nothing of the subtle nuances of putting a cliffhanger in. Oh, look, you're doing it now. Wow, it's almost like you knew it was there the whole time, and I'm just pestering you over nothing. Damn, it's almost like I should just shut my big fat mouth. Oh, man. And Thor, what about the I'm sorry carving? You never picked that up. Don't you know where that is? That's an important thing too. Why didn't you get that? Oh, wait, you do know where it is. There's the bitch that drops it. Oh, man. How magical. Alright, let's see, prove Jackass is wrong, pick up slab, pick up I'm sorry carving. Oh, no. Oh no. I'm sorry, Golf!
Stop it, I say.
I'm sorry, Golf!
Rude, young bitch. Tortoise is in your tent, but I'll leave you the choice. May you perish for the good of all.
I'm sorry, Golf. I have to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Golf. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hello and welcome back, anybody, everybody, but probably nobody. As you saw from the intro, we are done with Oolacile. Forever. We will never have to return to Oolacile. I pretty much tied up all the loose ends there. However, there's a couple things to talk about from Oolacile. First of all, regarding the armor and the weapon that I'm currently have, the Golf's equipment. So, let's go ahead and take a look. Golf's helm. Helm of Hawkeye Golf, one of Gwyn's 4 knights, received as a decoration of knightly honor. A helm crafted especially for the honorable Hawkeye Golf. Only the eye holes were packed with tree resin by those who dismissed Golf as a brutish giant. Armor donned by Golf since his days as a dragon slayer. This medallion bequeathed by the Lord himself and the Dragonbone pauldrons are symbols of the highest honors. Received as a decoration of honor, crafted of similar material to the gauntlets worn by the Silver Knights. Received as a decoration of honor, crafted of similar material as the gauntlets worn by the Silver Knights, same as the leggings. So, Golf was obviously a very highly decorated, honorable knight. Great bow used by Hawkeye Golf of Lord Gwyn's 4 knights for dragonslaying. The bow is larger than even those used by the famed dragonslayers. Only their leader Golf had the strength to handle it. Which I believe takes 27 strength, yeah. I don't have enough yet. In honor of Golf, who we unfortunately had to murder in order to get his equipment, I am currently wearing his stuff and wielding his weapon. Although I will be taking it off. And he'll go ahead and honor Artorias real quick, and look at his stuff. The death of the helm's owner can be surmised from the corrosive dark of the abyss and the musty azure blue tassel, once a symbol of pride and glory. The death of the armor's owner can be surmised of the corrosive dark of the abyss and the tattered azure blue cape. Gauntlets, the death of their owner, corrosive dark of the abyss, which has compromised their protective utility. And finally, the leggings. Same thing as the gauntlets, corrupted their protective utility. So, we were able to get the Artorias armor from that dude over there, Dongheim of Xena, whatever his name is. But he sells the boss armor, so we have the Artorias armor here. I'm actually not going to equip it. I also picked up the Golem helm and the Smos helm, which I showed off earlier. I'm not going to keep the Artorias stuff equipped, because if you look, I have a slow roll. And it's by, a little bit. I would have to lose probably the armor. Let's see. Yeah, the armor would put me, like, just there. So I'm not really going to wear it. It's a relatively decent armor. It's not great. There's better armor out there anyway. I'm gonna go back to looking like Chester. I like Chester's look. I think pretty much everyone likes Chester's look. Especially the helm. Look at that helm. Let there be light! Oh, nope, good luck, damn. Yeah. Alright, so a couple things I want to make note about from Oolacile and stuff, and one thing that's going to help me with that is when I do a quick warp down to, I guess I'll get there from the Undead Parish, but I'll be able to talk on the way there. Is this the fastest way, though? Maybe the fastest way would be through Undeadburg and down through... yeah. Okay, actually, I think the fastest way would be if I went through Undeadburg. But I don't think I can warp to that, so... whatever. We'll just talk on our way there. It's fine. We've got plenty to talk about. First of all, I'd like to talk about a couple of the theories of Artorias himself and his supposed walking through the abyss. So, one theory that I've been reading up on, and I kind of like it a lot, about the story of Artorias in the Abyss, is that Artorias himself never traversed the Abyss successfully, and was consumed by it, because when we got to Oolacile, Artorias had already been completely consumed by the Abyss. It's pretty obvious that he did not mesh well with the Abyss, being, and a couple things would... A couple of NPCs' dialogue would substantiate this claim that Artorias was never able to successfully tread through the Abyss and actually pacify any of it. First of all, when we first meet Alvina, she says that, she says almost word for word that treading the Abyss is nothing more than a fairy tale. Artorias never did it, and seeking out his grave will bring you nothing, basically. And that Artorias was never actually capable of treading the Abyss. So, and after visiting Oolacile, we find out what she said was actually true. Artorias wasn't able to actually tread the Abyss and defeat the Abyss. It was us. Us, because we're cool guys. Sup? Yeah. Chester would totally do this, Chester. Anyway, the Chosen Undead was the one who successfully actually traversed the Abyss, or the Chasm of the Abyss at the very least, and was able to successfully pacify Manus and stop the spread of the Abyss. So what Alvina tells us is true. Artorias didn't do shit. He just took credit for it, after dying like a bitch and getting in our way. So Artorias might have meant well, but he wasn't able to do anything proper. It was all us. All us. In addition, to help with such claims is the fact that when you find something Elizabeth says. We'll go over that first. Oh, cool. Blue Titanite chunk, not bad. Elizabeth says, and I quote, that Artorias wouldn't be able to traverse the Abyss successfully, as he has nary a murmur of dark within him. Which kind of tells us that in order to successfully traverse the Abyss... Oh, can I not bring her back because I bought everything from her? Ooh, did I make a boo-boo? Maybe I need to be human. Anyway, in order to successfully traverse said Abyss... We'll just go ahead and we'll give it a try as humans real quick. In order to successfully traverse said Abyss... Oh man, I have repeated myself 4 times. It kind of is hinted at that you would need the Dark Soul, as in you would need a fragment of Manus' soul in a way. You would need to be a descendant of the furtive pygmy, a human, so to speak. I'll try this as a human and see if... I'm trying to see if I can summon Dusk of Oolacile, which I should be able to, and be able to talk to her after this. But maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, it's very much hinted at that as a lord, someone with a soul of light, Artorias would never have been able to traverse the Abyss successfully no matter what he did. Whether he entered a covenant with the creatures of the Abyss or not, he would not be able to. So, why is it that we needed the the Ring of Artorias in order to traverse the Abyss the first time we went in there, in order to fight the Four Kings? Well, one of the theories is that the Four Kings' presence itself was what kept you from being able to traverse the Abyss successfully without some sort of hand-holder helping, or that they were alerted to your presence as you were falling into the Abyss and they kill you before it, something like that. It wouldn't explain why you just fall into nothing and die that way, but hey, we'll go with it for the sake of lore, because it's cool. This is all speculation anyway, so anything could mean anything. Knowing Dark Souls, anything does mean everything. And nothing. So Artorias never traversed the Abyss, so the stories of him, you know, going through New Londo and fighting Dark Wraiths was a lie, obviously. He couldn't have. The events of Oolacile happened before the events of New Londo. Or at least it's very much hinted at. The timeline is still, you know, obscured, and who the fuck knows. So, as far as we're concerned, and as far as we know... Oh, yep, there we go. I had to be a human. I was dumb. My bad, guys. I have plenty of humanity. There's no reason for me not to do that. Anyway, as far as we know, we can traverse the Abyss only because we are humans, and that the only possible way to successfully traverse the Abyss is becoming a human and having the dark soul within you. Being an undead, basically. That's it. Being an undead, I would say, is probably far more towards the truth of it. So let's talk to Dusk and get a little bit more backstory here.
I am Dusk of Oolacile. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes. My home of Oolacile was reduced to ashes long ago in my time. I have been alone ever since, but to be summoned thus, and to be of service to thee, it is most rewarding. Oh, forgive me. Such a long past time is none of thine concern. This may strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Oolacile, I was beset by a creature from the Abyss. I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorias. In truth, I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled. But even still, there was something about Artorias, a certain balance of the humours that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that? Oh, dear me, that was Oolacile, many centuries ago. Please excuse my fanciful musings.
No, don't worry, you're right. It was us.
This may long in truth.
Okay.
The heaven. Oh, please. If thou art in need, I wish may the flame. I am Dusk. It is an I shall.
Okay, you do still have stuff for me, so to buy. Huh.
This may.
Okay, so that's all she has to say there. So she did apparently have senses enough to realize that it was.
I am Dusk.
It
Wait,
was.
where are you?
Yeah. It was not Artorias, but it was us. Because Artorias could not survive in the Abyss. Because the Abyss is not the lack of light or anything like that. It is pure dark. And as you recall, dark is a physical thing in this world. I'm just going to homeward bum my way out of here. I got plenty of them. I got plenty of souls. It don't matter. Anyway, dark is a physical, actual thing in this world. And so, because of such, when Artorias dove into the Abyss with a soul of light, and nothing but light encumbering him and everything, he was attacked by every semblance of the Lord by the Abyss. Not necessarily just the creatures, but the Abyss itself would have attacked him, because the dark and light are in a constant struggle for supremacy, and dark of the Abyss attacks the light of anything. Do you have anything else to say?
What is that? Not long ago, I had another visitor, a human like thyself, from a faraway time.
Oh, hey,
Only
Esther.
he was dreadfully odious, and I'm afraid that he is still amongst us. He wore a hat and a long black coat.
Like this?
May the flames guide.
Okay, so she might have some more dialogue for us to talk to in a moment. Anyway, since Artorias was besat and begat, or whatever, assaulted by the Abyss, he was unable to complete his mission, got turned into a monster, then we had to fight him because he had lost all his sense of reason, and was going out and just murdering everything. So the story of Artorias is obviously greatly embellished, and Artorias really didn't ever walk the Abyss successfully. The most he could do was use the last of his strength to keep Sif from also being consumed by the dark of the Abyss. So, that goes to say, what of Manus? Was Manus actually the furtive pygmy, or was it something else? There's a nice little theory I read about earlier. A friend linked it to me, and I kind of like it. I'd like to at least expound upon it before we jump back into our journey and everything. So you're going to sit there and listen to lore. If you don't want to sit there and listen to lore, oh well, you're going to have to freaking do it. Any hoozles. Yeah, I like lore, so you're going to listen to it. Any hoozles, the theory is that Manus was actually Dusk consumed by the soul of the furtive pygmy himself. Which, might substantiate the claims. Dusk says that her senses were already fled, and that she could basically sense very little of what was going on while she was captured, quote-unquote, by Manus. We'll also see that Dusk was the only person in the whole of Oolacile who was not consumed completely by the Abyss and turned into a horrifying monster like all of the citizens were. She, after the defeat of Manus and the acquirement of his soul, was returned completely and utterly unharmed. So, perhaps, she was tricked by Koth into digging up the grave and consuming the humanity or the soul of Manus, and as such was consumed by it, and Manus' own objectives of spreading dark, or possibly just going insane afterwards, allowed him to spread dark and cast sorceries in such a way, because it was never said that the furtive pygmy was a sorcerer or anything, but Manus obviously was. He was casting dark orbs and dark beads and everything like that, and he was spreading the Abyss through his own sorcery. He even had a large, basically a catalyst of some sort, which Dusk would have actually had. You also see that all of the statues down in the lower Oolacile Township dungeon, or lower Oolacile Township, I should say, not really the dungeon, had statues of what were presumably Dusk with their heads cut off, because, you know, she made the mistake of awakening Manus and being consumed by him. But that's all theory. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of Elizabeth.
What is thy...
Whoops. Anything else? Nope. Okay, so she told us a little bit about Chester, and we don't have much backstory about Chester except that he is very likely from Carim, and I haven't touched much about the areas in Dark Souls. I mean, you get little bits of info about them in like the character select screen and from certain items that tell you a little bit about, people of Carim have very pale skin and stuff like that, and they're very dubious, sinister. I think it talks about them. It says they are sinister. One reason that we can surmise that Chester is of Carim is A, his personality is sinister, B, the equipment that he uses. He uses a sniper crossbow, which I believe I have one of those in my equipment somewhere. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh dear. No, please, stop. How did that happen? What's wrong with me? Oh, God. Menu navigation is so hard. Large crossbow with long distance used by Carim snipers, often with sniper bolts. Okay, so, seeing as he used a sniper crossbow himself, we can surmise he's from Carim. Carim is an area that's apparently more technologically advanced than other areas. They produce things such as the sniper crossbow, such as, and other items which, which are usually seen as a little bit more technologically advanced than, like, a short bow or a long bow or something like that. So, it seems like there's some sort of more technologically advanced peoples And they're apparently very sinister, and they might come from a very dark area themselves, since they have pale skin. So I'm going to sit here real quick just to reset my spawn point, and we're going to move on towards the next place. I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of potential lore backstory that I gave. I wanted to make a point of basically what might have been of Artorias, what might have been of Dusk. Artorias never really did anything of merit other than being a knight during the war. He didn't traverse the abyss. That was us. That was us. Only the undead can do it because we have the Dark Soul. Maybe, possibly. Who knows? Or maybe just the developers of FromSoft didn't want to put in a bunch of backstory and lore and they were lazy. Who knows? Anyway, this is going to start our advancement towards the next area of the game. Jesus, camera. And for that, we're actually going to switch out our weapons. Notice it's an Uchigatana plus 14. I did a little bit of farming. A tiny bit of off-screen farming. I passed it. I did a very tiny bit of off-screen farming in order to get a bunch of humanity. You see my 22 liquid in the top left, and I'm a human now. I got some chunks from farming the Dark Wraiths down in New Londo. And all that jazz. Also, this weapon, this is a Divine Club plus 5. In Anor Londo, when you go back into the secret fireplace behind what I think, what's probably Havel's room, considering you find the gear for it, you find an occult club. If you take that one step back, you get a Divine Club plus 5. And the Divine Clubs are very useful for the next area we're going to, because we're heading to the Catacombs. And let's go ahead and see what oh, look at that. This is what Divine Club does to the skeletons. It completely... Oh, well, good parry. It, completely undoes them. I didn't recognize the animation for him going for a parry. It was very quick. Anyway, it, breaks them down and forces them to have to reform themselves. So, that's very nice. On top of that... we will see a mechanic down there a little bit later into the dungeon than we normally would have, which is the reforming of skeletons after they have been quote-unquote killed. As long as there is a necromancer in the area, which is a non-respawning enemy that shows up in the catacombs, very unique to it, as long as a necromancer exists in the area, the skeletons themselves will reform. Will be reformed infinitely until you kill the necromancer. Now, I came down here looking for a skull lantern earlier when I was about to head into Ulasil because I wanted to get the silver pendant, as it is another piece of, you know, Artorias' gear before he got owned by the Abyss. Anyway, there's wisps over here that are going to explode. Hi, guy. Look at him. He's right there. Oh, there he goes. Think I can't see you? Anyway, because I came down here, and I was a little unsuccessful in getting the skull lanterns, which really sucks, but I'll get one later on as a guarantee from a chest, I think. Oh, God. Or a corpse. Oh, camera, please! Camera, please. Anyway, because I came down here and did that, there will be, I think, 2 less necromancers than normal. I think I only tried 2 of them because I didn't want to kill all of them before I even came here on video, you know. Oh, look at this area. There's so many bones. Look at these bone piles and these flat corpses. Look like they were ground up and they went through a trash compactor or something. Oh, what wonderful textures. So anyway, the catacombs. This is the entrance to the area governed over by Gravelord Nito, who we'll talk a little bit more about him as we reach his area, I should say. Wow, guy, come on. Oh, one thing I want to go over is like the moveset of the club, of any club really. So we've got our light attack bash. If you miss, you have a long recovery time. And same with 2 hands, it's the same thing. The heavy attack is always a leaping strike. Always a leaping strike. 2-handed as well. It's very unique to the club family of weapons. Normally you'd have to go down here in order to open that up. You push this thing in, and there's a necromancer right here. I already cleared that, being, you know, the jerk that I am to not show content. The guy that I am to leave behind slabs behind waterfalls, because clearly I don't know where they are, or the I'm sorry carving. Proved my friend wrong. Anyway, the catacombs are the entrance towards an area called the Tomb of the Giants. Now, as we reach the Tomb of the Giants, after we kill the area boss of the catacombs, we'll get a little. I'll talk about a little bit more of the lore story, because we'll have a piece of it in our hands, basically, for something that I believe is the area. We're going to go through this whole area, at least all of the catacombs, and once we get to the Tomb of the Giants, we'll be able to switch our weapons out. But throughout all of the catacombs, I'm going to use this divine weapon. If you don't have a divine weapon, then anytime there's a necromancer around, these skeletons will respawn. A lot. Forever. Not a lot. Forever. Oh god. Getting hit by that like an idiot. Ow. Hey now. Stop it. So one thing you'll notice about skeletons that is completely and utterly different from hollows. Hollows, when you see them, they have red eyes, completely red eyes. If you look at skeletons, they have like a milky white, bluish eye color, or light within them, really. It's more of a light than an eye color, which would suggest that that is maybe their soul, essentially? Jesus Christ, that's a loud noise. I believe that was a wisp exploding somewhere. Hi, guy. Yeah, do that. I love that attack. That's great. He flies forward and he breaks into bones upon landing and has to reform himself. It's a really bad move for them to do. It's easily blocked and everything. Oh. I believe in here is supposed to be a soul. I think I picked it up earlier. Sorry, guys. Leaping strike! Oh, he blocked. Come on, man. Yeah, do it. Yeah, I love that move. Okay. So, the skeleton's eyes are milky white instead of red like a hollow's. So, they're obviously different from... They're a completely different classification from what is known as undead. They are true dead. By a comparison. So, and this is kind of hard to explain. Falchion, that's a good weapon, by the way. Very good dex-based weapon. Just to talk about that real quick. So, as opposed to being undead, they are true dead, which means they have kind of a touch of Nito's soul, I would guess. This is where it gets kind of hard to explain. Whereas, while undead humans and whatnot have a touch of the furtive pygmy soul, the dark soul, true dead, like these skeletons that we're going to find all throughout this area, more than likely have a touch of sort of Nito's soul within them, breathing movement and quote-unquote life into them. Yeah, there's a necromancer right over there. I'll go ahead and show off what happens if you kill a skeleton without a divine weapon. I'll just switch to my Uchikatana for it. Oh, these wisps might demonstrate it for me perfectly. As the wisps themselves can also kill skeletons when they explode. So, much like how the lords in Anor Londo have the light soul in them, and how undead have the dark soul, true dead, like these guys, actual dead, have the death soul, whatever you want to call it, a touch of Nito's soul. And as you saw, these skeletons just got formed right back up. So, there you go. I showed off the mechanic. Now I don't have to. Oh, good move. So, all of these guys have basically a little bit of Nito inside of them. And don't we all want a little bit of Nito inside of us? Yeah. And as such, they're granted movement, granted a strange sort of life by Nito. By the way, if you pull this lever, spikes will raise on the bridge. Normally it's pulled out. If you push it in, the spikes go down. If you're ever invaded by anyone, be sure to make use of that. You can kill them with it. It's pretty funny. So, as such, these guys show different characteristics from people with the light soul, or beings, I should say, with the light soul or the dark soul. They show like no real ambition for themselves. They're kind of just pawns of Nido, pawns of the Lord of the Dead, the Grave Lord. Alright, so this guy's going to be shooting fireballs at me while these two guys, chuckleheads, try and attack me. And the camera's going to go crazy the whole time. Yeah, I bet you didn't expect your skeleton to stay down, biatch. Oh my god, put your shield down, you bastard. There we go. I could have also kicked him, but with a guy possibly shooting fireballs at me in the background, it gets a little dangerous. Oh, you son of a bitch. Now you die. So, as beings... See, look at him. He has red eyes, because he is a human, and not a dead. As opposed to the milky white, dark, light eyes of the skeletons. So, man, it's really hard to kind of explain this properly. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that patch that's clearly different from everything else. I wonder what happens when I step on it. So, as beings containing a bit of the quote-unquote death soul, I'm going to call it. I'm just going to call it a death soul. They are, they seem to not really have any ambition for themselves, and seem to just be pawns of Nido and necromancers. Anyone who has some dominion over the facet of death. Whereas Nido himself is the first of the dead and rules over death itself, has complete domain over it. Man, that waterfall is loud in my ears. I don't know if it's as loud for you guys or not. So we drop down here, and look, we're back outside, right where we picked up that soul off the guy. So that's just a way to get some crystal lizards, if you wanted to know about it. Ow. A lot of those statues will shoot spikes out like that. Pretty annoying. So I kind of just wanted to point out the distinction between beings of light and of the light and dark souls. So, you know, like the lords from Anor Londo and the Black Knights and stuff, who have light souls inside of them, stuff like that, who are physically larger than us, just naturally, with the exception of... Okay, you see that guy just hugging the statue? I wonder why. With the exceptions of Kieran, who we saw was the same size as us and had disdain for human, so it would be easily surmised that she was a lord herself, but just of smaller stature for some reason. Okay. Well, I did the wrong move. I meant to kick. My bad. And, we'll see him later, Gwyndolin, who is one of Gwyn's children, along with Guinevere. Gwyndolin is the last of Gwyn's children and one of his sons. Guinevere was his daughter, and we saw... The visage of her was physically massive compared to us. She was a giant by comparison. Oh hey, another one of you. I forgot you were here. Hi, guy. So, beings of the, Oh cool, finally a skull lantern. Let's push this in. So, what was I talking about? Where was my train of thought? Hold on. Okay, I was talking about, you know, people being physically the same size. Okay, so... Oh, jeez. This is a delicate series of falls that you want to hit. I'm trying to be careful here. Okay. Right over here. There we go. Perfect. And you want to make that drop onto this, you don't want to fall all the way down. And we'll meet a new NPC, so I'll shut up for a second.
gone with you. You'll spoil my focus.
Thanks, guy. Alright, so we'll talk about him in a... Oh my god, where the fuck did you come from? You're never here. How did... You must have fallen down a hole and got revived by a necromancer or something. That's who you are. Okay, so I just wanted to make the distinction between beings that hold different souls within them. Beings that hold a dark soul in them, aka like humans, like myself, undead, seem to be able to traverse the abyss without being consumed by the dark. Whereas beings of light, like the lords, like Artorias, like Gwyn, would have been consumed by the dark, much like Artorias was. And there seems to be like an association with different beings that can hold different souls inside them, which is these dead seem to have some sort of soul from Nito within them, or something regarding Nito's governing Lord soul over the Lord of Death, over the realm of death, I should say. It's kind of really hard to explain, which is why I'm unable to adequately do it, because I'm stupid. So I'm going to stop trying to explain difficult things and explain simple things. This is Vamos. He's a blacksmith.
What's that then? Need some smithing? Then produce me some wares.
His voice is really choppy.
I'm here to smith, not to chit-chat. I've told you, I'm here for the trade, not for the talk. Enough with your presence. It disturbs me. Well, you are a persistent one, are you not? But I'm afraid I'm a mere blacksmith. It's just me and my trade. I would be of no help to a righteous warrior such as yourself. I've told you I have nothing to discuss. If I have anything to offer, it's my smithing and nothing more.
I love
I'd be of
Pester.
more help with that ember from New Londo, of course. It's a shame the whole place was flooded. I've told you I have no...
Alright, I love pestering Vamos. His dialogue is pretty fun. So, Vamos is obviously a dead blacksmith. And an old one at that. He drops an item if you murder him. A helm, and we'll see that sometime later in the playthrough. For now, I'll keep him alive, because he suits my fancy. He drops a helm which says that it is of the ilk of royalty, so Vamos is quite possibly a royal from long ago. He really doesn't seem to want to talk about anything of the past, any sort of helping. He's really, really adamant about only doing smithing. So, possibly some bad blood back there.
What's that then? Then produce me some wares.
So, if you go to modify equipment, and you have something for him, he can give you the fire upgrade paths. So, if you want any sort of fire weapon, Vamos is the one to come to, and he works with, old stuff like that. He sells Homeward Bones for 500 each, which is a common price. I never got that, I'm just going to pick that up. And he sells a bunch of arrows and stuff. He doesn't sell anything particularly exciting. Let's prepare my stuff while I'm here. So...
If that'll be all, then be gone with you.
Yep.
You'll spoil my focus.
Yeah. So we'll be done with Vamos for quite some time. I have basically no intention of going back and talking with him anytime soon. Vamos is kind of a jerk. But he does open up this pathway over here to an area with some of the most infuriating enemies in the game. Everyone knows what these are. Be prepared for the most fun enemies in the game, I should say. Here they come. Bone Wheel Skeletons! Oh yeah, look at them go. Oh god, no, he got me in the back. Okay, these are Bone Wheel Skeletons, denoted by the bone wheel that they ride. Wow, you over there just fucking Vamos up, apparently. Jeez. Or a wheel with a bunch of spikes in it, I should say. Jesus. Give me one sec, I have to check recording times. Okay, we're back. Might have been a minor cut there, or I might have just shown it. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, Bone Wheel Skeletons, to go over them. Let's take a good look at them with my binoculars. These are skeletons literally just shoved inside, their pelvis shoved inside of this wheel, this very large wheel with spikes and metal carved into them, very jagged spikes and metal carved into them. And they roll around on them and roll into you and hit many, many, many times if they reach you. This is why a lot of people don't like this enemy, because they show up in very large groups, they hit you from behind very commonly, they drain stamina extremely quickly. They're actually not too bad. They die very easily, so I don't have much issue with their existence, I should say. Shouldn't say I don't have much trouble with them, because everyone has trouble with these guys when you make slight mistakes. Alright, so where do I want to go? I think there's some more skeleton bone wheels over this way that I want to clear out before I do anything. Yep, there's one. Hi, guy. Come here. So if you dodge right to the side, they just go right past you, and they can go very far. And he might show one of the reasons why people really don't like these guys. No? Alright, he didn't actually attack again while I was heading for them. They have a very fast recovery time. They actually, very quickly after they stop, they can spin around and get to you again. It's not hard for them to do so. Alright, so he's been aggroed. He'll come this way. You are here, so I want to... Oh, yep, there it is. Their poise is, like, extremely high, so it's very difficult to stop them from attacking. Okay, there's one, there's the other. Just take them one at a time, very simply, and take it slow with these guys. Otherwise, you are in for a world of hurt. They do a lot of damage. A lot of damage. I also love how skeletons fucking explode when you murder them. It's great. There's no reason for them to explode. They could just fall into a lump like everything else, but they explode. Because why not? Alright, so let's show off how much stamina they drain. And he still got by me and hit me. That's so annoying. That's really frustrating for people. For a lot of people. They do have a drop. Jeez. Munchy crunchies there. They can drop their bone wheel which is a shield. It's a great shield, which you can pick up, which I'd like one of them to drop. So we're gonna pop these wisps before I go forward, as there's a douchebag in here somewhere. Somewhere in here over this direction. And I'd like to make his acquaintance. Hello? Sir? Madam? Oh, hi guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Oh, hey, there he is! There's the guy. Hi, dude. Oh, I wanted to meet you earlier, but, you know, our schedules kind of clashed, I guess. Take that. Alright, so I'll murder him with the club now, pretty easily. Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay, then. He had more health than I thought he did. But you're slow. You have big swings. Oh, I got the great axe from him. Nice. Alright, we'll take a look at that after I clear out this area. I killed your master. Hope you don't mind. Or, not really your master, but this guy who was able to revive you. Hope you don't mind. Alright, let's go ahead and look at the great axe of the Black Knights, because it's cool. I don't know exactly where it's going to be in my massive stack of equipment. Alright, Black Knight Great Axe. Look at that base damage. 229. That's pretty freaking high. Great Axe of the Black Knights, who under Lordran used to face Chaos Demons. The large motion that puts the weight of the body into the attack reflects the great size of their adversaries long ago. So, this is a very large axe, and I'll go ahead and, why don't I throw it on the equipment real quick, just to show it. Also, I've got these Dark Hands. I'll talk about those in a bit before we end as well. Oh, right, it's right there. So, if you look at this axe, this is fucking giant. Now, against normal enemies, normal people, this would be excessive. Like, way too much. Way too much to have something this huge. But, as you recall, they were facing large demons and dragons, so, you know, the size of the axe actually makes sense, because a bigger weapon will deal more force if you have the strength to swing it. Of course, when you're fighting humans, you only need so much force to break a rib or cleave through them in two in the case of, like, a great axe, so, yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at those dark hands that I have, and I got these from farming dark wraiths. Actually, it's above these. So, dark hands. The dark wraiths incited by Koth use the power of the dark soul to absorb humanity, an art shared by this weapon, which also acts as a special shield. The ancients particularly could sap the humanity of even a replete saint in the blink of an eye. So this is something you can get for joining Darkstalker Koth's Covenant, which is the Dark Wraith Covenant. You get this automatically, the Dark Hand. You can equip it, and the strong attack from it will drain humanity with a grab attack. You can actually use that to drain humanity from NPCs without aggroing them. However, if you drain too much of their humanity, you will kill them. I'll show it off sometime later. Let me see, do I have anything else I really want to talk about right now? I don't think so. I do think I passed up one of the scythe weapon, which I'll have to go back and grab eventually to show that off. Anyway, we're kind of climbing backwards in this area right now, because normally you're supposed to climb down this way anyway, but I took the path in which I dropped down with Vamos. Anyway, you can see that ground is a little bit different. That ground will fall out if you land on it. Or step on it. Either one. Land or step. Same with that. Same with that. There's another ladder right here. We're going backwards right now a little bit, but because I want to show off a couple of things. First of all, pillage the shit out of this corpse. Yeah. Am I forgetting anything else in the area? Disasters are gone after the defeat of the Gravelord's servant. I think that was someone trying to use a Gravelord Servant Eye, but not being successful because right now the online for Dark Souls is pretty poor. Anyway, I'm gonna kill this Titanite demon. There aren't a lot of Titanite demons in the game that I actually will suggest killing, but I suggest killing this one. Hi, guy. You want to do anything? Oh my god. So I'm just gonna, you know, roll back and forth and throw fireballs at him until he gets tired of the game. Or until I run out. Well, he got tired of the game, and I ran out. Both happened. Demon Titanite. And an item back here. What could it be? What is it? What is it? 3 Eyes of Death. And which one is it? It's one of these. This one. This coffin has a special prompt. You can nestle in the coffin. Let's go ahead and do so. Oh, let's take a nap in this coffin. I feel comfortable in here. I feel really comfortable in here. Feels nice. It's a nice coffin. My corsage looks great in it. It's comfortable. It's actually surprisingly comfortable for stone. A well-made coffin. I should just take a nap. I should just take a nap in here. Oh, yeah. Nice point of view shot. So yes, if you go ahead and settle yourself inside of that coffin long enough, a skeleton, or several, at least one, will transport you here. To the next area, right below the catacombs. The Tomb of the Giants. Now this is a very special area in the Tomb of the Giants. A very special area indeed. As this is We go over here and take a look. Bloodstain. Huh. The Gravelord's sarcophagus. Let's go ahead and pull our binoculars out and take a look. So this is Nito. He's just kind of chilling here and slumbering in his coffin, basically. Perfectly content with us being here, he doesn't mind. And we can even pray to him and enter a covenant with him. And this is how you join the Gravelord Covenant. And in order to advance in the Gravelord Covenant, you offer Eyes of Death, which you mainly get for invading others as a Gravelord. Successfully. So I'd like to note that upon our entrance here, Nito, and that is Nito, is completely and utterly fine with us being here. He does not mind us being here at all. And that's partially because we went through the ritual of nestling in the coffin and arriving with Eyes of Death. I believe you need an Eye of Death, at least one in your inventory, in order to join the Covenant at all. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure you do. So, basically, because you showed that you are not there in any aggressive sort of way, Nito's like, oh, okay, cool. And you can establish a covenant with him and join him. So that's nice. Nito's pretty neato. Pretty neato. So he gave us a couple things that I'd like to talk about on our way down. First of all, I'm going to switch right back to the Divine Club, because, yeah. I got more skeletons to caretake of. I don't think it's... Is it down here somewhere? I do have a scythe. I do have Lucerne, which is one of the items you do pick up here. Halberd with a large, hard beak-like protrusion inflicts thrust damage. Instead of thrusting like a spear, the wielder of Lucerne aims to club the head with its hard beak. Although, really, you want to thrust it like a spear because there's a spear at the end. It just has that added effect. Scythe adjusted for battle, blah blah blah. You get a much better scythe somewhere down here. I forget the exact location, I'll be sure to double check. Did I really do that? Oh my god. I backed out and hit the description thing at the same time. I fat-fingered. Alright, so the Gravelord's sword. Sword wielded only by servants of Gravelord Nito, the first of the dead, crafted from the bones of the fallen. It exudes a miasma of death, a veritable toxin to any living being. That is the two-handed, heavy attack. Will shoot miasma out. Or miasma, I should say. Miasma. Also, we get a spell from him, the Gravelord's Sword Dance, which is a miracle. Known only by the servants of the first dead, Gravelord Nito. Giant Gravelord swords jut out in the vicinity. Gravelord Nito sleeps deep within the giant catacombs, quietly overseeing all death and waiting for his servants to usher in the Eye of Death. So, I'd like to point out that the spell that we get from Nito is a miracle. It is not a sorcery. It takes a catalyst and everything, because Nito is a god. After all. He is basically the polar opposite of Gwyn, if you want to think about it. Okay, this is that area. I have no reason to be here, really. He is essentially the polar opposite of Gwyn, whereas Gwyn is kind of like a god governing over the life that is going on in Lordran. Nito is a god pretty much governing over all of the death that happens in Lordran. Anyway, if you do fall in those, you fall down into the Bone Wheel skeleton area in like the very middle of it, and have a very bad time. A very bad time indeed. So, because Nito is a god, and all that jazz, he is actually probably an ally of Gwyn, as opposed to an enemy. So while Nito does govern over entirely different things, it's entirely in his interest to perpetuate the Age of Fire. I mean, after all, there can't really be any death without life. We'll talk more about that later as we're going through the Tomb of the Giants, which we'll get to relatively soon. Traverse the white light. Okay, so we'll be full for this. This is probably the easiest boss fight in the game. Well, not in the game. It's like the 3rd or 4th least health of any boss in the entire game. Great cutscene intro, though. So this is Pinwheel. Or at least it will be Pinwheel for a very short period of time. I could have actually just killed him there, but I kind of really like the theme that goes on, so I want to play it off a little bit. Also, to show off what he does, he just kind of shoots fireballs and clones himself. Not really a whole lot going on with Pinwheel. Quit dodging, you bitch. I've never let the fight go on that long. By the rite of kindling, you may now kindle beyond the normal limit. He also drops humanity and a homeward bone. And he gave me Mask of the Child. You could have gotten any one of the 3 masks that are that Pinwheel had on him, which are the Mask of the Child, the Mask of the Father, and the Mask of the Mother. So, if I go ahead and take a look at the Mask of the Child real quick. Oh man, we're getting so much lore in here. One of the 3 masks of the Pinwheel, the necromancer who stole the power of the Gravelord and reigns over the catacombs. This mask belonging to the naive child slightly raises stamina recovery speed. And we'll go ahead and look at the Rite of Kindling real quick. Rite which boosts bonfires even further. It allows bonfires to be bolstered further with kindling, so that even more Estus can be collected. Kindling was a sacred rite passed down among clerics, but all undead can imitate the process, in the same manner that they restore their hallowing with humanity. How peculiar that humanity had found little use for humanity. Humans had found little use for humanity until they turned undead. So, the power that it said that Pinwheel had stolen from Nito is very likely the Rite of Kindling. So, Nito, this goes back into the theory that he was in allegiance with Gwyn all the time, was able to kindle bonfires, it would appear. Ooh, what do you say? Shortcut ahead. Oh man. Oh man. It's dark now. Look how dark it is. Look at this just perpetuating dark everywhere. So let's go ahead and... oh god, it's down here, isn't it? There it is. Let's go ahead and equip our skull lantern so we can see everything. We weren't lied to. Yay! But anyways, yeah, I said anyways. Deal with it. Nito was very likely an ally of Gwyn, and the Rite of Kindling kind of perpetuates said theory. Yep, there we go. That's the guy we saw earlier, just hanging on a thing. So, Nito apparently knows the art of kindling bonfires. He might have even invented bonfires themselves, in order to perpetuate the Age of Fire, which is the Age of Gods, essentially, the age where gods reign over the land. So, it is completely in Nito's best interest to be allied with Gwyn. And here we go with the Tomb of the Giants, and you will see giant bones, and giant skeletons, and giant everything. Hi, guy. You look cool. But you're easy to kill. Also, I will not need the Divine Club for anymore. There's no necromancers raising the giants back up. As much as you think there would be. Slide down there. What's over here, though? Is there something that I'm forgetting about. No, I don't think so. Anyway, I will be showing off everything. Don't you worry about that. Okay, that looked really weird in the lighting. So, for the people that are like, oh, Thor, you forgot the scythe. Don't worry about it. I know where it is. I know how to get it. Idiot. Don't worry about it. I know where everything is. I just didn't pick it up on this one because I'm kind of running long on time, and I want to go to the next bonfire so that I can go ahead and end the episode. Okay, you do that. Oh, yeah, there's another one here. I forgot. Man, been a while since I've hit a bonfire. I'm actually out of Estus. Been a long while since I've hit a bonfire. Okay. So back to the theory of Nito wanting to support the Age of Fire. So Nito knows the way to kindle bonfires, as he has, the sacred right in his possession. So Nito is probably the father of the bonfires themselves, based on this information that we have. I could go for that now or later. Do it later. Ow. Damn. Hey, maybe I'll just head to the nearest freaking bonfire. This is running really long. Giant arrows sticking into my butt and everything. This is a really long episode, so I'm just going to go right down there. And I'll end the episode soon. I promise, guys. I promise. I know, I'm rambling a lot. Ow. I forgot you were here, you little devil. Look at you, little guy. Alright then. So, that guy's not going to respawn. Not here, at least. So, as Nito certainly has the right of kindling, means he's probably a conspirator with Gwyn and really wants the Age of Fire to continue. So I've been going on like way too long, guys. I'm gonna kindle this, by the way. I've been going on way too long. Like, this episode's gone so long. I'm sorry, guys. And I've rambled a lot. I'll be sure to collect my thoughts a little bit better for the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching. And don't worry, I'll take care of picking up any items that I missed on the way down. I'll do it. I know where they are. Don't give me that. Don't give me that facepalm. No. Don't. Oh. I'll see you guys in the next episode. No. Oh.